The man sat alone in his small house, staring at the blinking light on his screen. For weeks he had been tired of eating cold meals, old food from packets and tasteless bread. Cooking was never his skill. He was a worker, a builder, not a chef. So finally he had posted a simple job ad. Looking for a cook. Will provide food and place to stay. Must be honest. Must be able to work hard. It was a normal request. He expected someone ordinary to answer. Maybe a tired traveler, maybe a young person needing money, maybe even an old woman with good recipes. But what happened next was something he could never have imagined. The evening was quiet. The wind tapped against the windows, and the sun slowly disappeared behind the hills. The man waited, half expecting no one to come at all. Then, 3 knocks echoed at the door. He stood, a little surprised. So fast? He muttered. He walked over and opened the door. And there she stood. Not a woman, not a neighbor, not even human. An alien mother stood before him. Her tall figure, bent low as if trying to hide. Her skin shimmered faintly, pale silver in the dim light. Strange marks glowed softly across her arms like stars drawn on her skin, and in her arms, wrapped in a small cloth, was a baby. The baby's eyes were large and bright, glowing faintly with a color he had never seen before, something between green and gold. The man froze. His hands tightened on the doorframe. What is this? He whispered. The alien mother's voice trembled. Her words were broken, heavy with an accent. Job. Cook. Please. He blinked. Did he hear, right? Did this creature, this mother, come to apply for the job? His first instinct was to shut the door. This was impossible. Dangerous. Aliens rarely came close to human settlements, and when they did, it was never peaceful. And here she was, holding a child, asking to work in his home. The mother looked down at her baby, then back at him. Her eyes were wide, pleading. She stepped forward carefully as if afraid he would run. Cook, food, clean, work, I can. Baby, safe, please. The man's heart pounded. His brain screamed at him to send her away. He had only wanted a cook, not trouble, not danger, not this. But something in her face stopped him. It wasn't just desperation. It was exhaustion. The kind of tiredness that cut deep into the soul. She looked like she had been walking for days, maybe weeks. Her clothes were torn, her steps weak. The baby in her arms let out a soft cry, small and pitiful, and she quickly rocked him, whispering in her strange tongue to calm him down. The man swallowed hard. Why here? He asked, his voice sharper than he intended. Why me? You could go anywhere. The mother shook her head slowly. No, not anywhere. Humans. Most close. I trust. Trust? That word hit him strangely. No alien had ever spoken to him like that. The silence stretched. He stood there, torn between fear and something else. A voice inside whispered, if you let her in, your life will change. Maybe for the worse. Another voice whispered, if you turn her away, she and her child may not survive the night. The baby made another soft sound, and the man's chest tightened. He remembered his own childhood, the hunger, the nights when no one cared if he lived or not. He had survived because a stranger once gave him food. Was he now the man to close the door on someone else? The alien mother stepped back, as if ready to leave. Sorry, she whispered, lowering her head. I go. Her voice broke something inside him. Before he realized it, he reached out a hand. Wait. She froze. Slowly, she looked back at him. The man's voice was low, uncertain, but firm. You can stay, just for tonight. Her eyes widened. Tears glimmered there, though she quickly blinked them away. She bowed her head deeply. Thank you. Thank you. He stepped aside, letting her enter. She walked in quietly, holding her baby close, looking around his simple house with cautious eyes. She moved like someone always ready to run. The man closed the door, leaning against it for a moment, trying to catch his breath. He had no idea why he had done this, no idea what danger might follow her. But deep inside, he knew one thing. This was no ordinary job application. This was the beginning of something far bigger. As he turned, he saw the alien mother laying her baby gently on a chair, wrapping him carefully. The child's glowing eyes stared at him with strange innocence, as if seeing into his soul. And in that quiet moment, the man realized his life had just changed forever. The mother's secret, the night was silent, but inside the man's small house, questions filled the air like heavy smoke. He sat across the table from the alien mother, watching her carefully. She kept her baby close, never letting go, as if the child was made of fragile glass. The man's food sat untouched in front of him. He was too tense to eat. His eyes kept moving to the strange marks on her skin, glowing faintly like starlight. They pulsed gently whenever the baby stirred, as if mother and child were connected in some hidden way. Finally, he spoke. His voice was calm, but sharp. Tell me why you came here. The alien mother looked down at the table. For a long time, she said nothing. Her hand stroked the baby's blanket, calming the child even as her own body trembled. He leaned forward. If you don't tell me, I'll have to send you away. Her head shot up. Fear flashed in her silver eyes. No, please. No, send. I tell. She took a shaky breath, searching for the right words. Her voice was broken, her sentences short, but the meaning was clear enough. My world. Broken. War. Fire. No safe place. My people. Hunted. Baby. Last. The man frowned. Last? Last of what? Her eyes glistened. Last of my line. Last of hope. The baby let out a soft sound, and she cradled him tightly, whispering in her tongue. The strange words were soft and gentle, but filled with sorrow. The man tried to make sense of it. He had heard rumors of alien wars, faraway battles that never touched his quiet town. But hearing it now from a mother holding her child, it felt real. Too real. She looked at him again, her voice trembling. Hunters, they come. Baby, they want. If they take him, my people end. The man's stomach turned cold. He remembered the shadows outside his home earlier, the strange feeling that someone had been watching. He had thought it was his imagination. Now he wasn't so sure. He clenched his fists. So you're saying you brought danger here? To my house? Tears rolled down her cheeks. No choice. I run. Run many nights. Humans. Only chance. Please. I work. I cook. I clean. I hide. Just let us live. Her voice cracked at the last word. She lowered her head, ashamed, as if begging for mercy. The man sat back, breathing hard. He had wanted nothing more than a cook, a simple life. Now he was sitting across from an alien mother on the run, holding a child that enemies wanted badly enough to kill for. He stared at the baby. The glowing eyes met his own, calm and unblinking. There was something strange about that gaze. It was not normal, not human. But it wasn't threatening either. In fact, it felt pure. He whispered, almost to himself. Why is the baby so important? The mother hesitated. Her lips trembled, but she answered. He carries light, power of my people, old gift, rare. Hunters, want to use, make weapon, no mercy. Her arms tightened around the baby as if she could shield him from the entire galaxy. The man rubbed his face, trying to think. He had never asked for this. He didn't want to be part of any alien war. But the sight of her trembling, clutching her child stirred something inside him he couldn't ignore. He remembered being a boy, hungry and alone. He remembered strangers turning him away, doors closing in his face. He remembered the one time, just once, someone gave him food and safety. That single act had saved his life. Now he was the one with the choice. Would he close the door like most had done to him? Or would he do the one thing no one else dared? Help? The silence stretched. The fire crackled in the small stove. The baby let out a tiny laugh, sudden and innocent, breaking the heavy tension. The man looked at them both and sighed. His voice was rough but steady. You can stay, for now. But if hunters come, if they bring danger to this place, we'll need to be ready. The alien mother's eyes widened. Relief flooded her face. She bowed her head deeply. Thank you. Thank you, human. I not forget. He nodded stiffly, though inside, fear gnawed at him. He had just tied his fate to hers, and to that strange, glowing baby. As the night deepened, he gave her a small room to rest. She laid her baby down gently, whispering alien lullabies that drifted softly through the house. The man sat alone in the kitchen, staring at the shadows outside the window. His gut told him this was only the beginning. The hunters she spoke of, they were real. They would come. And when they did, his quiet life would be gone forever. The hidden danger. The man woke early the next morning. The air was cold, and the light of dawn crept slowly through the cracks of his old house. He rubbed his eyes, trying to convince himself that last night had been real. Had an alien mother truly knocked on his door carrying a glowing-eyed baby? But then he heard it, soft humming. A tune, strange and beautiful, flowing from the small room down the hall. He followed the sound and saw her sitting on the floor, rocking her child gently, singing in her alien tongue. For a moment he simply stood there. She looked less frightening in the morning light, more like any tired mother trying to comfort her baby. But the glowing symbols on her skin reminded him this was no ordinary woman. When she noticed him, she stopped singing and lowered her eyes. Good morning, human. He nodded awkwardly. Morning. Then, after a pause, you can use my kitchen. If you really can cook, now's the time to prove it. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. She set the baby down carefully and moved into the kitchen. Her movements were precise, graceful, as though even simple tasks carried deep meaning. Soon the smell of food filled the house. Different, richer, almost glowing with warmth. The man sat at the table, surprised. Maybe, just maybe, this strange arrangement could work. But the peace did not last. As he ate, he noticed the mother's eyes flicking nervously toward the window. Her body stiffened, and the glowing lines on her arms pulsed faster. What is it? He asked, lowering his fork. She whispered one word. Hunters. He froze. Here? She nodded slowly. I feel them. Close. Watching. The man's blood ran cold. He stood and went to the window. At first he saw nothing. The trees stood, tall. The grass waved in the breeze. Everything looked normal. But then, movement. A shadow slipping between the trees. A figure too still, too careful. Someone or something was out there. He turned back to her. You weren't lying. She held her baby tightly, fear flashing across her face. No lie, they come. They smell his light. She rocked the baby, whispering again in her language. The man's heart pounded. This was his home, his safe place. He had worked years to build a quiet life. Now danger stood at his door because of her. And yet, looking at the child's wide golden green eyes, he knew he could not push them out. Not now. He locked the windows and bolted the doors. If they're watching, we can't go outside. Stay quiet. Stay hidden. The day passed slowly, every sound sharp, every shadow suspicious. The man carried his old hunting rifle, though he knew it wouldn't do much against alien trackers. Still, it gave him a sense of control. By evening, the silence grew heavier. Then, as the sun set, he heard it. A crack of branches outside, deliberate, close. He signaled her to stay quiet. Holding the rifle tightly, he moved to the window. His breath caught. 3 figures stood at the edge of the trees, tall, armored, their faces hidden behind masks. Their bodies glowed faintly like predators built for the night. Hunters. One raised its head, and even from a distance the man felt its eyes lock on his house. They know, the alien mother whispered. Her voice shook and her arms wrapped around the baby protectively. They know we are here. The man's mind raced. He had wanted only a cook. He had wanted peace. Now he was staring at death outside his home. But if he threw her out, they would kill her. Kill the baby. And he would live with that blood on his hands forever. He turned, his face set with grim resolve. If they want to come, they'll have to fight for it. The mother's eyes widened, filled with both fear and hope. She whispered, "You help us?" He gave a short nod. "I didn't ask for this. But you're here now. That makes it my fight too." The baby cooed softly, unaware of the danger, his strange eyes glowing brighter in the dim light. The mother held him close, tears shining in her eyes. "Thank you, human. Thank you." Outside, the hunters began to move, circling the house like wolves. The man checked the rifle, his hands steady. He had no idea how long he could hold them off, but one thing was clear. The quiet life he had once known was over. The danger was real. The hunters were here. And the battle for survival had just begun. The first attack. The night fell heavy, wrapping the man's small house in darkness. The silence outside was not peaceful. It was sharp, waiting, like the air before a storm. The man stood by the window, gripping his old rifle. The alien mother sat in the corner, rocking her baby gently, though her eyes never left the door. The hunters were still out there. Watching. Waiting. The man's heart pounded with each passing second. He had fought storms, wild beasts, even angry men in his younger years, but this was different. These were not men. These were predators from another world. A sudden sound broke the silence. A thud, then another. Footsteps, heavy, deliberate, crunching over the earth outside. The baby stirred and let out a soft cry. The mother shushed him quickly, her glowing skin pulsing faintly, as she whispered words in her strange tongue. The man raised his hand, signaling for silence. Then, with a deep breath, he moved closer to the door. The knock came, hard and loud. Bang, bang, bang. His body froze. No one ever knocked like that. It wasn't a request. It was a demand. "Open!" A voice boomed, metallic and cold, filtered through the hunter's mask. "Give the child. Live." The mother clutched her baby tighter, shaking her head violently. "No. Never." The man swallowed hard. He shouted back, "Leave us alone. This is my home." Silence followed. Then the voice again, sharper. "Give or die." The next moment, the door shook violently. They were trying to break it down. "Back!" the man ordered. He pushed the mother further into the room. She obeyed, though her eyes filled with terror. The door cracked under another heavy blow. Dust rained from the ceiling. The man lifted his rifle, his breath ragged. Then the door exploded inward. The first hunter stepped through, tall and armored, glowing faintly in the shadows. Its mask reflected the dim firelight from the stove. In its hand, a weapon hummed with deadly energy. The man fired. The sound shattered the night. The bullet struck the hunter's chest, sparking against the armor. The creature staggered, but did not fall. The man cursed under his breath. This fight would not be easy. The hunter raised its weapon, aiming at him. But before it could fire, the alien mother lifted her hand. The glowing marks on her skin flared brightly, and a sudden wave of force knocked the hunter back against the wall. The baby wailed at the burst of energy, but the mother held him close, whispering frantically. The man stared in shock. What was that? No time, she cried. More come. She was right. 2 more hunters appeared at the door. Their glowing eyes scanned the room like predators spotting prey. The man fired again, aiming for the closest one's mask. This time, the shot hit true. The mask cracked, and the hunter roared, stumbling backward. But the third lunged inside, swinging its weapon. The man barely dodged, the blade cutting deep into the wooden table instead. Splinters flew across the from. The man swung the rifle like a club, striking the creature's arm. It staggered, but only for a second. Its strength was terrifying, each movement sharp and brutal. The mother screamed something in her language, raising her free hand again. Another burst of light shot from her palm, slamming into the creature. It howled, its armor smoking as it was thrown back against the wall. The man's ears rang, his chest heaving. This was no longer just survival. This was war inside his very home. The hunters regrouped outside, their shadows shifting in the firelight. He knew they wouldn't stop. They wanted the baby, and they would tear the house apart to get him. The man turned to her, his voice hard. We can't stay here. They'll burn the place down if they have to. She nodded, her face pale. Run? Where? He glanced toward the back of the house. There's a path through the woods. A hunting trail. If we move now, we might escape. She clutched the baby tighter, her whole body trembling, but her eyes held fierce determination. Yes, we run. The man grabbed what little he could. Extra bullets, a lantern, a blanket. Then he turned to her. Stay close, don't stop, no matter what happens. She nodded again. I not stop. I protect him. Always. The baby let out a soft sound, as if sensing the danger around them. The man looked at the glowing child, then at the door shaking under the hunter's fist. He tightened his grip on the rifle. This was no longer about wanting a cook. This was about survival, about protecting a child who carried more weight than he could understand. The door cracked again. Shadows poured in. The man shouted, Go! Now! Together, they ran into the dark, leaving the broken house behind. The hunters roared, their footsteps shaking the ground as they followed. The quiet life the man once knew was gone. The fight had begun. And the hunters would not stop until blood was spilled. The bond grows. The forest was dark, filled with shadows that stretched like claws. The man led the way, lantern in one hand, rifle in the other. Behind him, the alien mother followed, clutching her baby tightly against her chest. Every step was quick, careful, silent. Behind them, the sound of hunters echoed faintly through the night, distant but not gone. The trail was narrow and rough, twisting through thick trees and uneven ground. The man's boots crunched softly on fallen leaves, while the mother's lighter steps made almost no sound. But the baby, he whimpered now and then, small cries that cut through the silence. Quiet, the man whispered, glancing back. They'll hear. The mother stroked her baby's head, humming softly in her strange tongue. Miraculously, the child calmed, glowing eyes closing as if soothed by her voice. The man stared for a moment, almost forgetting the danger, then turned away quickly. They had no time to waste. Hours passed as they moved deeper into the forest. The hunters did not appear, but the man could feel them, always near, always watching. Finally, when the moon rose high, he stopped near a cluster of rocks. We rest here, he said quietly. The mother sank to the ground, exhausted, holding her child close. She leaned against the stone, her glowing marks dimming, as if her strength was fading. The man set down his lantern, scanning the dark woods with sharp eyes. Only after a long silence did he sit, still gripping his rifle. The baby stirred and let out a tiny laugh, a soft, innocent sound, out of place in the dangerous night. The man turned, surprised. He had never heard such a sound in years. Pure, joy even while surrounded by fear. The mother smiled faintly, kissing her baby's forehead. Then she looked at the man. "He like you," she whispered. The man blinked. "Me?" She nodded. "He look. He smile. First time. Since war." The man didn't know what to say. His chest tightened. He had been alone for so long, living, quietly, keeping people at a distance. And now, a baby from another world had smiled at him. He looked away, muttering, "Strange kid." The mother chuckled softly, though her eyes were sad. "Not strange. Special. He carry gift. My people call it light of life." The man frowned. "What does that mean?" She hesitated, then whispered, "He can heal. He can bring hope. Hunters want this power. They take him. They use him to kill." Her voice shook. "I cannot let that happen." The man stared at the baby, who now looked at him with glowing golden-green eyes. Heal? Hope? He almost laughed. It sounded impossible, but then he remembered the strange energy the mother had released back in his house. Maybe it wasn't impossible after all. The baby reached a tiny hand toward him. Slowly, without thinking, the man reached back. The small fingers wrapped around his rough hand, warm and strong despite their size. A strange calm washed over him, as if the child's touch had quieted the fear in his chest. The man pulled back quickly, unsettled. "We should keep moving at dawn," he said gruffly. The mother only smiled softly, whispering, "He trusts you." The man turned away, hiding the storm inside him. He didn't want to trust, didn't want to care. Caring meant pain. But the bond was already forming, whether he liked it or not. Through the night he kept watch while the mother and child rested. When the baby cried, she sang, and the forest itself seemed to quiet, as if listening. The man found himself listening too, the alien words strangely comforting. When morning came, they continued. Step by step, fear slowly turned into rhythm. He hunted small animals, showing her how to cook them over fire. She taught him how to use herbs from the forest to heal wounds. They worked together, two strangers tied by danger, learning to survive. Side by side. At times, the baby laughed again, breaking the tension. Once, while the man tried to light a fire, the child reached out and touched the wood. For a second, the wood glowed faintly and caught flame on its own. The man dropped the stick in shock. "What? How?" The mother pulled the baby close, eyes serious. "See? His gift, not toy, not safe. Never show hunters." The man stared, shaken. If the hunters got hold of that kind of power, he didn't even want to imagine it. That night, as they camped under the stars, the mother whispered, "You saved us. You fight for us. Why?" The man was silent for a long time. Finally, he said, "Because I know what it's like to be left behind, to be alone. No one should go through that, especially not a child." The mother's eyes filled with tears. She bowed her head. "You are not just human. You are protector." The man didn't answer, but deep inside something had changed. The baby's laughter, the mother's trust. It was building something stronger than fear. A bond. And he knew bonds could be powerful. Powerful enough to face the storm that was still chasing them. Because the hunters had not stopped. They were closer than ever. The final chase. The morning began with a strange stillness. The man felt it first. The forest was too quiet. No bird calls, no rustling of small animals. Only silence, heavy and unnatural. He tightened his grip on his rifle, scanning the trees. The alien mother sensed it too. The glowing marks on her skin brightened faintly, warning her of danger. She pulled her baby closer, whispering, "They come." The man's stomach dropped. He knew she was right. The hunters had found them again. "Move," he said sharply. "We can't stay here." They gathered their few belongings quickly and hurried along the narrow path. The forest seemed to close around them, each tree like a watching sentinel. The baby shifted restlessly in his mother's arms, sensing the fear that hung thick in the air. Then, behind them, the sound came. Footsteps. Heavy, fast, more than one. "They're close," the man muttered, pushing forward faster. The mother glanced back. Through the gaps in the trees, dark figures appeared. Hunters. Their glowing masks cut through the shadows like the eyes of wolves. "They run fast," she whispered in panic. "Then we run faster," the man snapped. The chase began. Branches whipped at their faces as they ran. Roots tried to trip their feet. The man led the way, cutting through the forest like a hunted animal. The mother followed, clutching her baby tight against her chest, her breath sharp and desperate. Behind them, the hunters gave chase. Their voices echoed cold and mechanical. "The child. Take the child." The man's heart pounded. He could hear the hunters' weapons humming with deadly energy. One wrong step and they would be caught. "Left," he shouted, pulling her down a hidden path he knew from years of hunting in these woods. They stumbled down a slope, sliding on loose dirt, crashing into bushes. The baby cried, frightened by the chaos. "Quiet him," the man urged, fear in his voice. The mother kissed her child's forehead, humming her alien lullaby even as she ran. Miraculously, the baby's cries softened, replaced by calm coos. The man risked a glance back. The hunters were relentless, moving like shadows, never tiring. They were faster, stronger. It was only a matter of time. His chest tightened. "We can't outrun them forever." Ahead, the trees thinned. The forest opened to a rushing river, wide and wild, its waters roaring with fury. The man stopped, cursing under his breath. "No bridge, no way across," he muttered. The mother's eyes widened. "We jump?" The man stared at the raging river. Jumping would mean death, or worse. But staying meant capture. His mind raced. Then he spotted a fallen tree spanning part of the river, though broken in the middle. Dangerous, unstable, but it was their only chance. "This way," he shouted, leading her to the log. They climbed onto it, balancing carefully as the water roared below. The wood shook with every step. The mother held her baby close, moving slowly, her eyes full of fear. Behind them, the hunters reached the river's edge. They raised their weapons. "Faster," the man barked. Energy blasts cut through the air, striking the log and sending splinters flying. The mother screamed, nearly losing her balance, but the man grabbed her arm, pulling her forward. They reached the broken part of the log. The gap to the other side was wide, too wide to cross easily. The man's face went pale. "It's too far." The mother looked at her baby, then at him, her eyes hardened. "I try." Before he could stop her, the marks on her skin flared with brilliant light. She gathered the baby in one arm, stretched out her glowing hand, and leapt. For a moment, the air shimmered around her. She floated as if the light carried her. She landed hard but safe on the far side, clutching her child tightly. The man's jaw dropped, but there was no time for wonder. The hunters were moving onto the log. He backed up, took a deep breath, and jumped. He barely made it. His hands caught the edge, and he dangled above the rushing river. The hunters fired, blasts striking dangerously close. With a grunt, he hauled himself up, rolling onto the ground. The mother pulled him to his feet. "Run." Together they sprinted into the trees again. Behind them the hunters roared in fury, but the river slowed their pursuit. The man's lungs burned. But he didn't stop, neither did she. For every step they were bound by the same thought. Protect the child. Finally, when their legs could carry them no more, they collapsed in a hidden hollow between two hills. The mother cradled her baby, rocking him gently, tears streaming down her face. The man dropped his rifle beside him, his chest heaving. He had never run like that in his life. For a long time, They sat in silence, the sound of the rushing river fading behind them. The hunters were not gone. They would never stop. But for now they had survived. The man looked at her, then at the baby glowing faintly in the dark. His voice was rough, but steady. We'll keep running, we'll keep fighting, no matter what. The mother met his gaze, her eyes shining with both fear and trust. Together, she whispered. And in that moment, the bond between them grew stronger than ever. But deep inside, the man knew this was only a pause. The hunters would return. Stronger, angrier. The final battle was still to come. Humanity's choice. The man had never felt so tired. His legs ached, his lungs burned, but still he walked. The alien mother walked beside him, clutching her baby close. They had escaped the hunters again, but they both knew it was not the end. The hunters would never stop. That was why he led them now toward a hidden outpost, a place where humans gathered when trouble came. He had avoided it for years, preferring to live alone. But now, with the hunters chasing them, it was the only hope left. When the wooden walls of the outpost came into view, the mother gasped softly. Relief flickered in her silver eyes, though fear still weighed heavy in her steps. Safe? She whispered. The man hesitated. Maybe, but it depends on them. As they approached, armed guards spotted them. The guards raised their weapons at once. Halt! One shouted. Who goes there? The man lifted his hands, rifle hanging at his side. It's me, I need help. The guards stared, surprised. You've been gone for years, and now you bring... Their eyes fell on the alien mother, the glow of her skin, the strange baby in her arms. Their voices hardened. What is this? The man stood tall. She's not the enemy. She's a mother, and her child is in danger. Murmurs rose from the walls. More humans gathered, curious, suspicious. Faces lit by torchlight stared down at them with wide eyes. The captain of the outpost stepped forward, his voice sharp. You brought aliens here? To our gates? Do you want to doom us all? The mother lowered her head, clutching her baby tightly. Her voice trembled. Please, we only need safety. Hunters, they come. The crowd gasped. Whispers spread like fire. Hunters. Everyone had heard of them. Ruthless trackers. Killers. If they came here, no one would be safe. The captain's eyes narrowed. Open the gates and we risk all our lives. The smart choice is to hand them over. The man's fists clenched. His voice thundered. No! If you give them up, you're no better than the hunters. The crowd fell silent. All eyes turned to him. He stepped forward, his voice steady but full of fire. I lived alone for years. I wanted no trouble. I wanted peace. But when this mother knocked on my door, I saw the truth. She isn't the threat. Her child isn't the threat. The hunters are. They are the ones who destroy, who kill, who never stop. He looked at the baby glowing softly in the mother's arms. This child, he isn't a weapon. He's hope. If we protect him, we show the galaxy what it means to be human. We show them we don't abandon the weak. We don't abandon children. Not ever. The captain glared. And what happens when the hunters come? They'll tear down these walls. They'll kill us all. The man's voice dropped low, full of steel. Then we fight. Better to fight with honor than to live with shame. The mother's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, You protect us, even when your people afraid. Why? The man looked at her, then at the crowd. His voice broke, but his words were strong. Because no one protected me when I was small. I know the pain of being left behind. I won't let it happen again. Not to him. Not to anyone. For a long moment, silence hung heavy in the air. Then, slowly, one guard lowered his weapon. Another followed. A woman from the crowd stepped forward, voice trembling. He's right. If we hand over a mother and child to hunters, what does that make us? Others nodded, voices rising. He's right. We protect them. We fight. The captain's face hardened, but he could see the decision had already been made. With a deep sigh, he lowered his weapon too. So be it, we fight. Relief washed over the mother's face. She bowed deeply. Thank you. Thank you, humans. The gates creaked open and they stepped inside. The baby cooed softly, glowing brighter as if sensing safety at last. The man felt the tension in his chest ease for the first time in days. But it did not last. The ground trembled. A deep roar echoed in the distance. The hunters were coming. The humans rushed to their defenses, raising weapons, lighting torches, preparing for battle. The man stood with them, rifle in hand, the alien mother. At his side. She whispered, "They will come for him." The man nodded, his voice fierce. "Then they'll have to go through all of us." The baby looked at him with glowing golden-green eyes, as if understanding. A strange warmth spread through the man's chest, steadying his fear. The hunters would come, yes. The battle would be brutal. But he no longer stood alone. He stood with his people. And for the first time in his life, he believed that humanity's choice, to protect, not abandon, could change the galaxy forever.